Thank you, Soma, Krish, Varun, and all the person who are responsible for organizing this. And thank you all for the various guests who have come over. And I can understand Mumbai is a city within many cities, I guess. It has many cities within the city. If I say, where do you have the lecture? South, I live in the north, it's very difficult. So, kudos to all of you. We have some people who says, come from Ghatkopar, or it is 1.5 hours drive. We have to start at 4 p.m. So too much pressure on myself. I got to make it as interesting as possible. So thank you all for the effort. See, when I had a lecture in Mumbai some time ago, and after the lecture, the lady came up and said, and that was a wonderful lecture. I really learned a lot. I have one suggestion, she said. I said, yes, I'm more than willing to welcome suggestions. And I asked her, what is your suggestion? She said, it was a great lecture. I was sitting in the last row, and I couldn't hear a word of what you said, she said. But wonderful lecture. So normally I try to make it as loud as possible, so that otherwise you may go into another state of consciousness. So, beyond success. It is interesting, 9 out of 10 focus on success. But what is beyond success? In fact, that is an area where very few want to explore. So that's what this session is all about. See, there's the word educate, derived from 2 words, edu and kate, which means to draw it out. When I draw it out from you, it stays with you. When I try to push it in, it goes from here to here. There are people, maybe you would have attended the lecture, would have called your friend, hey, you should come for the lecture. And after the session is over, and he asks you, how was the lecture? It was great. What did you learn? A lot of stuff. What is it you actually learned? Plenty of interesting things we learned. Can you specify a few? They may say, look here, next time when he's in town, you should attend the lecture. It is, therefore, education is drawing out from you. So, beyond success, I try to make it, drawing it out from you. So, we're going to have different topics here. What is the success in the present day world? What people consider as success? And then next is, test yourself for success. Then, facts on success. Then, what is success? Then that's when we are getting into the real topic. Then, this is my favorite. Success should be in your own terms. Then, for those mathematically minded people, we have some control S people and all, technically sound. Too much philosophy, they'll say, what is this, sir? So some mathematical equations for success. Then finally, path beyond success. So, let's start with success in the present day world. See, what is success considered in the present day? A nice job, a lovely villa, a swanky car, private jets, expensive holidays, enough and more money, and branded watches. Some of the branded watches I've seen, they exorbitant prices. But by the time you look at the time, it takes some time. So all the wheels are rotating, and I said, what is the time? So the more complicated a watch is, the greater the price. If a watch is too plain and simple, they don't value it. You have to find it as difficult as possible to see the time. So, the present day success, it is, if you observe, this is what, we want to be successful in the eyes of the world. More than yourself, we want others to consider you as successful. It is what you got to be careful. 9 out of 10 fall a victim to it, and nothing wrong about it, but if you are dependent on it, you're in trouble. You want to be successful in the eyes of the world. To be honest, nobody cares. Next, how is success measured in the modern times? Measured predominantly on the material terms. Material terms. You could be a miserable person, but you're earning a lot of money. You are still considered a success. So that's what I'm saying. Success is predominantly considered in material terms. Let me tell you, money is a major aspect of success. It is an important indicator of success, but do not make it the only indicator of success. It is. I still consider money is important. We are not saying don't rule out money. Money is very important. See, if you are organizing that event, money is involved. If I have come from Dubai, money is involved. Money is an important indicator, but we cannot make it the only indicator. That's my call. So, it is, if you can, we have accepted this norm. So there are many so-called successful people who could be miserable. In fact, in the opinion, it's much better to be wealthy and miserable than being poor and miserable. Both ways you suffer. At least, it is much better to suffer in a luxurious, swanky apartment than in a slum. So don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, that's why I said money is not a problem. Therefore, you've got to be careful. The last one is a killer. Name, fame, power, position, opposite sex are great slaves but terrible masters. All these are great slaves, but if you make any one of it your master, you had it. If you make money your master, you had it. You built a 5-bedroom luxury villa, and you're very happy until you came to know your brother-in-law built a 7-bedroom villa. And you are a PhD, he is illiterate. And you are very happy until you compare your material well-being with someone else. So, name, fame, power, position, opposite sex are great slaves but terrible masters. And history has revealed enough and more examples where anyone, when they made one of it their master, they had it. And quite a few have made quite a few of aspect as masters. So you've got to be careful. Success in the present day world appears to be this. So, now, test yourself for success. I'm going to give you some questions. You don't need to answer to me right now, but you can make a note of it and answer to yourself. If you have read Shakespeare, in Hamlet, in Polonius' advice to Hamlet, he says, Polonius tells his son, to thine own self be true. To thine own self be true, and it must follow us night the day. Thou canst not be false to any man. Be true to yourself. Be true to your own conviction and conscience. Conscience is that little bird in each one of us which tells you what is the right thing to do. Conviction is a strong thought. This is what I want to do. It says, be true to your conscience and conviction. If you are not true to your inner voice, you may end up with regrets only you can face. So, test yourself for success. Welcome. Now, we're going to ask you this question. You don't need to answer, but answer to yourself. Do you enjoy your work? Let me tell you, I absolutely enjoy my work. I'm giving you my answers. Absolutely enjoy my work. There is a statement called Swadharma in the Bhagavad Gita. Swa means one's own. Dharma means nature. Each one should function according to their own nature. It is like this MCA club is an epitome of Swadharma. The great players it has created, cricket players. So, do you enjoy your work? Cool. Do you look forward to Friday evenings or Monday mornings? Is it a holiday here? Do you look forward to the Friday evenings or Monday mornings? See, you go to America, there is this chain of restaurants called TGIF. And first, thank God it's Friday. I wish there were TGIM. Thank God it's Monday. So, do you look forward for Friday evenings or Monday mornings? Both. Excellent. Next, do you look forward for the day of your holidays or the day after the holidays? There are people who say, no, already I've planned 3 months in advance. I have this 1 week holiday. I can't wait for those holidays. Do you look forward to the day of the holidays or the day after the holidays? When I say day after the holidays, you're looking forward to your work. So these are questions I wish you can answer yourself. Then, are your relationships progressive? There's only 2 types of relationship: progressive or stagnant. Progressive relationship, I don't think there's anything called, happy and bad relationships. Progressive or stagnant. Stagnant relationship is what? You have stopped putting in effort. You have taken each other for granted. Oh, she's there. Oh, he is there. They have stopped putting in effort. They have taken each one for granted. So, stagnant relationship. Progressive relationship is, no relationship is easy. But you're willing to put in effort. You're willing to work on yourself. You are happy to reduce your sense of selfishness. 2 selfish individuals in a relationship is a recipe for disaster. Me for myself, she for herself, it can never work. Till now, my relationship has worked very well. 25 years, wedding anniversary I celebrated this February. My mantra is happily get along or peacefully get away. Happily get along. You go home and you ask for a cup of coffee from your wife. Please. Please, it's fine. Happily, again, this is a question you got to answer yourself. Happily get along or peacefully get away. Imagine if I go back home, to my room and ask my wife, that was really a tough day, can you make a cup of coffee for me? You think I'm your helper here doing all that? Go make 2 cups of coffee, one for me and one for you. That is my wife, I'm in the right place. I have a good relationship. Please don't. I can't take someone else's example. I'm just. So, imagine after the session, I go back home and she makes some nice ginger lemon tea. You must be very tired. I made this for you. I will rush out and check my room number. Am I in the right room? So, happily get along or peacefully get away. Don't get along in a frustrated manner and don't come out in an agitated way. Happily get along. So, are your relationships progressive? Next, very important question. Who controls you? People, positions, or possessions? Who controls you? The 3 P's of control. People, possessions, what you own, or positions. You could be holding a position in your company or in your country. Who and what controls you? Test yourself. If one of it controls you, they say, you want to know who controls you? Observe people and areas where you can't give your opinion. That's your control. That's your area of. So, test yourself. Who controls you? Are you, in simple terms, are you in control of yourself or have you given the control to some other factor? That's all. That's all. Next, my favorite. My master used to say, when you hit the pillow, in 10 seconds you should fall off to sleep like a baby. Not after 5 drinks. When you hit the pillow, in 10 seconds you should fall off to sleep like a baby. Incredible. And it is, sleep is such a important element, a health requirement in each one of us. Whenever I meet a lot of people, in his top CEOs, I said, how good is your sleep? I said, it is. See, I'm not asking about you fall off to sleep in meetings or lectures. But when you hit the pillow, when you go to bed, you should sleep. So anyone who can sleep like a child is a blessed person. So let's not compromise. So these are some of the ingredients for testing yourself for success. Please, my thing is enjoy the work. If I am standing here, or whatever I have gained is from the work I do. So I may not go to a place of worship, but standing here and sharing my understanding of life with you is my worship. I enjoy the work. I wish all of you also enjoy what you do. Enjoy your vacations, but also enjoy the day after the vacation. It's essential. Make your relationships progressive. Any one of you in a stagnant relationship, watch out. Watch out. It's not healthy. There's no perfect relationships in the world. It exists, but the other person must be 6 feet down under. Then it works. If they are alive, what I'm saying is life is present continuous. Relationships are present continuous. It doesn't matter how faithful, trustworthy you were in the last 20 years. In the last 2 months, there was a distraction. That became an attraction. And then you say, I was faithful for 20 years. Only 2 months I missed out. What's your problem? It doesn't work. It doesn't work. So, and then people, possessions and positions, watch out. If you make any one of them control you, you can't be yourself. Then, this is a must. When you hit the pillow, 10 seconds, like a baby, you should fall off to sleep. People should admire your sleep. It should be like that. The guy sleeps very well. So, some of the ingredients for testing yourself for success. Next, facts on success. It doesn't matter how successful you are in your business or in your profession. If you fail in the home front, you are a failure. Don't get me wrong. I'm not being cynical here. It doesn't matter how successful you are, how accomplished you are in your work. If you have failed in your home front, you are a failure. I am not being judgmental. That's why there's the next point I'm writing. Your success in one role cannot be your excuse for the failure in other roles. It is just a case of misplaced priorities. I hope you get it properly. So, I'm repeating it. Your success in one role cannot be your excuse for your failure in other roles. They say, at times they say, it is, what else you want? What else you want? I give you a great holiday, given a fabulous villa to live, all the shopping and everything, great education. What else you want? Your failure, your success in one role cannot be your excuse for the failure in other roles. So watch out, friends. Watch out. That's why I'm not being judgmental here. I'm just being a little more analytical here. Next, life is present continuous. It doesn't matter how successful you are in the past. It depends on what you do in the present. Success is never ending. Success is never ending. I'm giving an example of Nokia. I mean, I don't want to take that example, which is not right. Nokia, at a certain period of time, had over 50% market share in handsets. But where is Nokia now? If anybody is using a Nokia, they'll ask you, what happened to you? It is, unless it is, so life, success is present continuous. It doesn't matter how successful you are in the past. What matters is, what are you now? Can you make it present? Life is present continuous. I mean, that is how cruel life is. It's present continuous. Relationships, present continuous. Health, present continuous. Leadership, present continuous. There's nothing as stagnant. There is nothing in life that is stagnant. We are all an evolving consciousness. So, is it present continuous? Life, that's why I say life is present continuous. So watch out. Next, few aspects on success. Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. In my opinion, it is doing ordinary things extraordinarily well. It is doing ordinary things extraordinarily well. You go, they may invite you for a dinner. The way they serve, it is the normal food, but the way they serve, extraordinarily well. Eventually, life is simple. Few simple disciplines practiced every day. Sometimes I listen to the prize distribution, especially cricket. When the man of the match is interviewed, he says, how did you do it? He said, I kept it very simple. If a bowler has taken 4 wickets, I said, I kept it very simple. Stump to stump, I was bowling. It's not that, he said, I tried this googly, I tried that one. I kept it very simple. Eventually, simple disciplines practiced every day. That is success. Next, it is interesting. Successful people start with dominant talent, add skills, knowledge, and practice. Their raw talent serves as a multiplier. Dominant talent. This is where I'm saying, see, if you want to be successful, you've got to identify your dominant talent. It is. I watched the movie Amadeus. It's on Mozart. I strongly recommend that you should watch Amadeus. Raw talent. At the age of 6 or 7, he composed a symphony. And you add skills and knowledge. Skills is that which helps you, your talent. And knowledge, you accumulate a little more knowledge in your field of activity and consistent practice. But the raw talent serves as a multiplier. The raw talent. Each one of us has this raw talent called Swadharma. Each one of us. If you can identify your raw talent, then add skills, then bring in enough and more knowledge and practice it consistently. That's the fact on success. But raw talent, but we don't go by, not many of us go by raw talent. We go by herd instinct. What are you studying? I'm doing my MBA. Why? Everyone is doing it. Oh, what are you doing? Cyber security. Why? It pays a lot of money from the beginning. You go by herd instinct. We don't have that many original thinkers. So, raw talent. Next, interesting. Winning provides happiness. Losing provides wisdom. Instead of learning from other people's success, learn from their mistakes. Why I'm telling you? The reasons could be common on failures. So you want to learn from others' success. You read, he studied under a street light. Now you are in a nice 3-bedroom villa. You have your own room. Now where to go for the street light? And Nelson Mandela got all his wisdom in a prison. Should I go to prison for that? Don't study from their success. Learn from their failures. Let me tell you, failures are common. One of the major reason for failure, there is this dreaded 3-letter word called ego. E-G-O. You know the expansion for ego? There are people who say edging God out. You can't edge God out. God is always there. Okay, you can't edge God out. Ego is, E-G-O is exaggerated glorification of oneself. I repeat, exaggerated E, glorification G, oneself O. E-G-O. You find a person who is egoistic, everything is exaggerated. If only you have a boss like mine, you will not talk like this. If only you live in a city like Mumbai with all the traffic, you will not talk. Everything is exaggerated. Or traffic, everything is exaggerated. So, there are many reasons for failure. one of the major reasons for failure is ego. And another aspect could be judgments. Various that judgments and comparison. Your judgment of others reveals more about you than others. Your judgment of others reveals more about you than others. You meet a person who's very wealthy. You met a person who's very wealthy, and I come back on a dinner time. I met this guy. He's stinking rich. So why can't you say, blissfully rich? He is stinking rich, or I don't know what all the word. And I saw this girl, drop dead gorgeous. The moment you see, so watch out. Winning provides happiness. Losing provides wisdom. More than learning from their success stories, make sure you learn from their failures. Most of the failures are common. The success formula could be different. But the failures, the reason for failures are predominantly common. Predominantly common. See, the caution here is don't be judgmental. Learn. Learn. There are 3 ways of learning. 1 is through knowledge. 2nd is from others' experience. 3rd is from your own experience. When you learn from your own experience, you pay a heavy price. When you learn through knowledge and through others' experience, you are better off. I don't need to be a drug addict for 5 years to understand drugs are detrimental. Or I don't need to go through 3 divorces to understand I need to work on myself. Learn through knowledge or through others' experience. You don't need to make your own mistakes. That's my call to you. Next. Interesting. Facts on success in life is not how well you execute plan A. It's how smoothly you cope with plan B. In simple terms, one of the major ingredients of success is adaptability. COVID taught us. All my lectures were in person. And suddenly COVID shut down all meetings. And I had to switch to online, Zoom. And in the first few days, it was uncomfortable. But in that 1.5 years or 2 years, I did 900 online lectures. 900, I myself was surprised to do 3 lectures, different, because the different parts of the world they were calling. Can you address this? So, adaptability, it's like, it's not how well you execute plan A, it is how smoothly you can cope with plan B. Facts on success. Next, always, it's a funny point. Always remember, striving and struggling precedes success, even in the dictionary. The word striving and struggling precedes success, even in the dictionary. It's an interesting point. Therefore, without striving and struggling, success may not be possible. Even if you have a rich father-in-law, you must have the striving and struggling to get that person. So, watch out. These are facts on success. Last one. Success is not same as talent. It's interesting, friends. The world is full of incredibly talented people who never succeed at anything. In simple terms, there is a difference between success and talent. You may have talent, but it's almost like a curse. The world is full of incredibly talented people who never succeed at anything. So, watch out. I wish there are more successful people. You find Mumbai is an example. I find success all over. Even a person selling vegetables, you'll find there is some level of success. Mumbai, Dubai, so many places you find so much abundance of success. But each one, their talent, that's a raw talent. They add skills, knowledge, and then constant practice. That makes them successful. So facts on success. These are the facts on success. There could be many more facts, but I'm just giving you certain aspects. Now, what is success? What is success? Let's understand. The feeling of satisfaction, of achieving something significant, or the thought that you have achieved something spectacular in life. Success. The feeling of it's a satisfaction, personal satisfaction of achieved something significant, or the thought you have achieved something spectacular, significant or spectacular according to you. That is success. Next, in fulfillment of a major desire. Anyone, you feel successful because whatever your major desire was, you have fulfilled it. We are in MCA, in the Mumbai Cricket Association. I mean, India is on a growth surge. The women's team won the World Cup. The men's team had won the T20 World Cup, Champions Trophy. It is on a surge. It is a fulfillment of a major desire. Major desire. So I'm giving an example. You got to relate in your own ways. Whatever your major desires are, if you have fulfilled it, you feel successful. This is more important. Success should be in your own terms. This is what I'm going to come up to you separately. Let us not fall a victim, success in others in the worldly terms. The world or the life functions on cause and effect. Success is an effect. Right action is the cause. If any one of you have read the Bhagavad Gita, there's one chapter 3 called Karma Yoga. The entire chapter is focusing on right action. It only highlights